Hey folks, how are we doing? I'm parked in a little secret location right now, but it's right on the edge of a place called Beer. No, not the drink, it is in fact a village. A coastal village on the Jurassic coast, a World Heritage Site, 95 miles of awesome geology, epic scenery, and fantastic little coastal villages like this one. So I'm not actually in the village, nor am I going to go into the village, but the plan today is to do about a 4 or 5 mile circular walk from Beer, where I am now. So I'll head to the coast and then walk along to a place called Branscombe, visit some of the National Trust stuff there. There's like a blacksmith place and a cafe, which I might possibly stop at, but probably not. And then basically circle back around. But this is a fantastic route because I can go along the Undercliff, which is obviously a protected area, and then I can come back over the top of the cliff with the epic views. It is very hazy today, it's very overcast, it's very windy, which you'll be quite pleased about because you won't be able to hear me talk, so you can just take in the scenery instead. But that's the plan. I mean, this is a very popular route in the summer, but it's not summer, it's the middle of winter, so I'm probably going to be on my own, but I'm going to take that in. I've been fighting this cold thing that's going around for so long, and I'm actually really hoping the coastal air is just going to clear me up a bit. So I'm stoked for this. Got to wrap up nice and warm, get my boots on, and we'll head out. Let's go! So I can see the sea, just approaching Beer Head, which is the sprawl of a caravan site, which sits right on the cliff. And we'll join the Southwest Coastal Path and head up on to Branscombe. Pretty excited, but I expect it's going to get windy. In fact, I can see how windy it is. The waves are looking pretty giant. The Southwest Coastal Path is a 630-mile trail that runs from Minehead in Somerset to Poole Harbour in Dorset. It's a designated national trail, marked by the iconic acorn signs that you see along the route. So we'll see in a minute that the ground beneath me will start to turn white, and that's the chalk and the flint that make up this part of the coastline. So a lot of the houses, especially the older ones in Beer and Branscombe, are faced with flint. So it's a pretty hard wearing rock, and it's obviously everywhere, free for use, so keep an eye out for that. The Beer Head Caravan Park is a fantastic spot for coastal walking and taking in the scenery, and it's within walking distance of the village. The park offers luxury lodges and caravans, a bistro and shop, and is also pet friendly. See the views opening out behind me. So we've got Smuggler's Cove here, which is a little bay, quite sheltered, and then over there, that big urban area is Seaton. It's a very popular place to visit as well. And you can see the coastline just stretching on right round out of sight. Beer is a really pretty village with a fascinating history. It was built around lace production and fishing, but there's no harbour, so boats had to be winched up the beach by capstans. One in particular required 20 men to work. So just over there, not within sight, but on a road over there, is the Beer Quarry caves. Now during the Roman times, beer stone was really highly sought after for its workability, for carving, and also the yellowy ivory sort of colour that it gave off when it was exposed to air and weathering. And it was actually used in over 24 cathedrals, including Exeter, Westminster and St Paul's, but also cathedrals over in the USA as well. So it's a very popular stone. Nowadays you can visit the quarries and the caves, but they're not actually open yet. They open in March, so I couldn't do it if I wanted to, but definitely worth a visit if you're down this way. They've also got a pretty decent population of bats as well. Definitely worth checking it out. Try telling me this is a boring landscape. Check out this view. Absolutely mind-blowing. It's so dramatic. And this slump of earth we can see here, that's the Hooken Undercliff, So basically in 1790 it broke away from the cliff, and the undercliffs are a term literally given to any massive earth that breaks away. So we've got undercliffs in Dorset and on the Isle of Wight, and this is obviously this specific Hooken Undercliff. And it's a SSSI, a site of special scientific interest. So the flora and fauna here, and the chalk and the flint and all of that geology just make this a really key habitat for a lot of rare species. And the coastal path actually goes through it as well, so we get to explore it in a minute. But every time I come around this corner, I'm just absolutely mind blown and completely in awe at the scale and the beauty and the ruggedness of this landscape, and how free I am to just come here and explore it and witness it throughout the seasons. You can just imagine what it's like being a pirate or a smuggler trying to stow away your stuff, but it's pretty hard work getting up these cliffs with barrels of rum.
Along the top of the cliff, the walking is really pleasant and easy going. It's a great place to stroll along and take in the views.
Here we go, the sign breaks it down for us. Beer, 1 mile that way. That's probably the slowest mile I've ever done, just because everything is amazing today. This way, Hooken Cliffs, that way. Over the top, that would take us to Branscombe mouth, which is 1 mile away. And then this sign says coastal path this way, and this is the Hooken Undercliffs, and that's the way we're going. Let's do it. That chalk. So I'm right on the edge of the Hooken Undercliff now, and I'm just going to follow this footpath which winds its way down and down and down right to the bottom through this sort of valley that's been formed, and then we can drop down onto the beach. We'll have a look, maybe get a stone, claim it as the lucky stone, and then we'll work our way back up to Branscombe. But I'm just enjoying taking my time and soaking in this landscape. What's quite cool, actually, I've just noticed from this place, is you can see the different layers of strata in the rock. So I'm no geologist, as I'm sure you know, even though I have studied a little bit of geology, but you can basically see where all the sedimentary rock, how it's formed, all the different layers that have been deposited over time, compressed, more layers formed, compressed, more layers formed, and then obviously further along the Jurassic coast you can even see it's red, so it's an entirely different rock. And these veins of different rock run through our country, and they join in different areas. And I know that chalk runs through the Ridgeway National Trail, it runs through the South Downs Way, so this is just another area of chalk in our country, but it's so bold and it's quite vibrant. It really catches the light. It's good, I like it. We've got the cliffs towering above us now. Gosh, if you want to feel small, come here. Look at that. It's quite high up there. And this, of course, is perfect nesting ground for birds like peregrine falcons, but also coastal birds. So you often find herring gulls and pigeons. They're not really coastal birds, are they? But pigeons nesting in areas like this. We are right at the bottom of the cliff now. We found the sea. Just trying to find a little path to take us down to the beach. Might just dip my toes in. Here we go. Yes! We're on the beach! How cool is this? Wow. Honestly, nothing beats coming out here on a day like today. Just the air and being able to breathe and have the waves of the sea just fill your mind, and remove all the trash. Yeah, this is living right here. That was entertaining. Alright, let's get back on the trail and head over to Branscombe. Oh, feeling refreshed now. So that's the way we came. This is the way we're going. Branscombe, here we come. This path I just find so exhilarating. You really feel like you could be a smuggler, just winding your way through like gnarly roots and ivy. It's really quite cool. Ooh, it's just a little hollow in the rock face here. Pretty cool.
Eventually the path hits concrete, before opening out with pretty decent views over Branscombe.
Right, so the plan, I'm just heading down into Branscombe mouth. I'm going to walk up the next cliff, which is West Cliff, and literally for 100 odd metres, and then shoot down into Branscombe. Right on the edge of Branscombe, just have a look at the church, some of the National Trust sites. There's a forge, so a blacksmith forge, and a bakery, and an old mill, which I won't be able to go in. They're probably shut anyway right now. But then we'll work our way back to Branscombe mouth, and then we'll climb up here, a giant cliff. That's not what it's called, but I'm officially naming it that now. And then we'll just work our way back along the top of the cliff to Beer. And you never know, there might be a half decent sunset today. I'm really hoping for one. So anyway, let's get up this cliff, get our heart rate up, get a sweat on. Got to do it every day, and crack on. It's kind of weird for me to be here when like no one else is. I'm so used to this place being an absolute hive of people, but it's pretty dead. It's quite nice, to be honest, but the cafe's shut. No problem. We got a cliff to climb anyway. Whichever way you head out of Branscombe, you basically got a big climb. So West Cliff's pretty sharp. That one we've got laid is pretty sharp. Oh, catch my breath. But if I was to keep going along here and not head into Branscombe, I would end up in Sidmouth. So that's just a way to extend it along the cliff. But regardless, I'm still going to get to the top. So that's the mission. Check out the view. It's getting good. I have not sunk to the floor in despair, although I'm really very hot, as I'm sure you can tell. I wanted to show you this. It's quite impressive. This plant here and this whole covering, other than this stuff and the ivy, you don't want to touch that, is probably one of my favourite wild edibles. It's garlic, wild garlic. And if I just pick one, here we go. Oh my life. That is, oh, that is just the best taste. I'm actually so happy. Literally, like, this is it now. If I know garlic's out, I'm just going to be in all the woodlands, because I love picking this stuff, I love eating it, I love drying it out, I love cooking with it. I just love the taste of it. Like, you can just pick a leaf and eat it. It's sensational. Of course, it works fine for me because I often walk alone, but when I walk with others, they know when I'm around. Garlic. Oh, good stuff. This is quite a nice viewpoint. You can see Branscombe sort of filling the valley here. It just clings to the side of the hill. All the white houses. We have reached a pivotal moment. The turn off into Branscombe is down there, and that is where we go. There isn't actually a sign. There's just this gate, and we go this way. Over the stile and down the hill. So it would appear that I have just picked a path that has led me down into the village a little bit sooner than I would have liked. But that's okay. So all that means is that we'll miss the blacksmith, the forge, which is a shame, but we'll just have to visit it another day. We could use this as the starting point and walk across to Sidmouth. That's fine, let's just open the door of opportunity. Never let excuses get in the way. Welcome to Manor Mill. Branscombe was once a very busy village with 4 working mills. 2 for grain, a sawmill and a gypsum mill. Wow. Today Manor Mill is the only one that remains in full working order, looked after and restored by the National Trust. It was in use just before the Second World War, then fell into disrepair. As well as producing flour for baking, it also grounds wheat, barley and oats for animal feed, and is powered by water from the Leat. That is pretty neat. And there's the water mill, or wheel, that is not running at the moment, but you can see the Leat, so how it's all controlled. The water comes down here, drops down onto the wheel, it turns, spins off, and then the big bar that's attached to the wheel gets all the machinery working. It's pretty decent engineering, that. So that is the mill. It's actually quite funny because just here, just before we hit the coast, is sewage works. So you wouldn't really expect that, would you? But it's getting treated from the village and the other villages and, well, potentially pumped out to sea, folks. Where else does it all go? I will say no more. That's a discussion for another day.
The giant anchor outside of the cafe of Branscombe is from the MSC Napoli, a 62,000-ton container ship that was beached there in 2007 during a storm. The 26-man crew had to be rescued by helicopters from the Royal Navy.
Alright, it's that time. Let's get up to the top of East Cliff. Ooh. You'll like this. Look at the path. Yay! Steps. That is no joke. That's where we're going. It might be time to break out the coffee, folks. I love coffee. Coffee can get me anywhere. Whew. Oh boy. This light is insane. Come on, in there. Alright, so I made it to the top eventually. Enjoyed my coffee, that was a good moment. And now heading back along the top of the cliff to Beer itself and the car. So it's about 1.75 miles or so. But I'm just going to take this super leisurely, kind of like the whole walk really, and just enjoy the sun. I can't wait to see the colours that are going to come out. And this light, it just blows my mind every single time. Gotta love a good sunset. And a good gate as well. That's a lot of sheep. I'm very nearly back at the junction that takes us down to the Hooken Undercliff, and just a final stretch back to Beer. So I think what I'm going to do is just sit for a while. There's a bench up ahead. If I whack all my layers on, I can just watch the sun go down. It'll be about half an hour, 40 minutes, but in my view that's time well spent. I've got all my layers on, I'm pretty well wrapped up because the temperature's really dropping as the sun goes down, and I'm just really enjoying these final moments, just soaking up the light, enjoying the sound of the waves and the sea. Breathing is so blissful, I can't even express how peaceful it is here right now. And I feel this is a good place to conclude today's walk, so thank you for journeying with me. And I know it wasn't the longest walk in the world, but it was a pleasure to share it. And I just want to encourage you to give it a go. Definitely encourage you to head down to the southwest coast, because this is just one of many other areas that are just an absolute marvel to explore. So until the next walk, stay wild.